I've just uploaded the video of the 2024 Hungarian Grand Prix qualifying crash where Yuki Tsunoda has crashed and they've stopped the qualifying session. Listen to what Martin Brundle and David Croft say about them having to do the checks on the barriers to make sure it is safe. Then the session will get restarted. Take a note of how long it takes from when they release the cars out of the garage, the cars are waiting at the end of the pit lane, to when the session gets restarted. And note how Brundle and Crofty tell you how awful it is for these cars that are now, these tyres are getting cold, and how awful it will be for these drivers. Listen to that Hungarian Grand Prix qualifying session commentary from Brundle and Crofty, and they'll explain that to you in that video just uploaded. Now compare that with this. This is the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix of 2021, the fixed one. You can see this is from 1 minute 27:45. Now what we're going to do, we're going to pick it up. I can't play you this view because this will get blocked. The only reason that didn't get blocked is because I recorded it with my mobile phone. It's still copyright protected, so I will get no money for that video. I'll show you, I'll prove to you what the situation is. This is going to be, I'm going to switch to tracker view, but this is where we pick it up. Hamilton, the leader, is on lap 53 of the race. So he's got this lap to do, plus 54, 55, 56, 57, 58. So this lap plus 5 more. You can see now that Verstappen is just about to start the lap 53. So effectively, Hamilton is around almost 12 seconds into this lap as we pick it up. You will see when I switch to tracker view, which I'm going to do now, and the audio will begin straight away, that you will see Verstappen's car on that start-finish straight. So it's not exactly the same. It's not exactly in sync. This is how it works on F1 TV. So I'm going from international view to tracker view. Here we go. And it will start commentary now.
Place after a late pit stop caused by that slow puncture. He's charging through the field. His teammate Daniel Ricciardo moves out of the way of Max Verstappen, then quickly gets back onto the racing line because he wants to try and keep Charles Leclerc at bay, but both Ricciardo and Leclerc out of the points at the moment. Mercedes on course to be Constructors' champions for a record-breaking 8th consecutive time, and in a season where the regulations changed ever so slightly, but at their detriment.
So Mercedes are on course for a record-breaking 8th. Okay, they were able to identify that. So you can see here, turn 12, there's Latifi and Schumacher. They're going to get to turn 14 and crash. You can see Hamilton at turn 7. You can see Verstappen here. So at this stage, there's Norris, there's Alonso, and there's Ocon in between Hamilton and Verstappen. And what happens by Verstappen pitting, Ricciardo also pits, but Leclerc and Vettel don't. They stay out, and so they pass Vettel, effectively unlapping themselves from Vettel. What am I talking about? Vettel. Leclerc and Vettel unlap themselves from Verstappen by Verstappen pitting, and that's why it re-establishes 5 cars in between Hamilton and Verstappen. That's the mechanics of that situation. And like I've said in the other videos, you've got Pierre Gasly that's just here. He currently is in 7th. He ends up in 6th when Perez retires. You've got Lando Norris here in 8th. But Lando Norris has gone on to these tyres. Lando suffered a puncture, if you remember. Had to pit because of a puncture, and now he's trying to chase Gasly for that 7th position. But Hamilton has lapped Norris currently. Hamilton's on his way to try and lap Gasly. Norris is also on his way to try to attack Gasly. I'm not going to speak anymore. I'm going to play this forward for you to listen to uninterrupted. Listen to how Brundle and Crofty talk about the barrier needing repairs or needing to be checked, right? And listen to how they describe the tyres and how awful it is for the tyres, you know, just being sat there at the end of the pit lane for 10 minutes getting cold. Anyway, or just driving around the track, still keeping warm with no sign of racing being possible. Anyway, let you decide.
At the start of this season, it's once again a great recovery because they felt they've been hampered coming into this season by those slight regulation changes.
Well, that feels like a long time ago, doesn't it? But yes, Mercedes had an awful pre-season test, didn't they? We thought they would be in terrible trouble come the first race.
Oh no! Nicholas Latifi has crashed, and I think that is at turn 14, where we saw
safety car.
Kimi Raikkonen crash in practice. It is at turn 14, and yes, that will be a safety car because marshals are going to need to recover that Williams and to work on it. And this now completely changes the context of this race if they can clear the Williams in time and we can have a couple of laps racing to the checkered flag.
There's bound to be a couple, and of course that's where Max Verstappen's much fresher tyres will fire up and give him the confidence on any kind of restart. It depends how there will be, I'm pretty sure on lap 52, obviously because of the slow pace with 5 to go, that they'll probably have a lap or two as long as they get it, if they get a vehicle on there and get that out of the way.
And coming into the pits, Max Verstappen. Hamilton stays out. Verstappen coming into the pits, and I would imagine there's a set of soft tyres waiting for him to go onto that Red Bull car. Yes, it is.
I can't box. Negative.
Right, so if there is a restart, Verstappen now has fresh soft tyres. Lewis has heavily used hard compound tyres. They will let any lap runners through on the safety car restart, and he will presumably end up, well, they had nothing to lose. Once again, Red Bull had nothing to lose here.
They have nothing to lose. Hamilton is a long way clear as Perez also pits, as we can see, and there's quite a few coming into the pits. Hamilton's a long way clear on the track, but I rather get the feeling by the time he comes around to the main straight, he's not going to be able to pit and stay ahead of Max Verstappen. That chance wasn't there or has gone by for Mercedes.
Verstappen tucked up behind Sebastian Vettel in the Aston Martin there.
But he won't be on the restart.
Wow.
So look, we're on lap 54 of 58 here. They've got to clear that debris away, and the fire extinguishers have obviously gone off because the brakes, I'm sure, were getting very, very hot. But they've also got to let the lapped cars unlap themselves. Just at the back of my mind, I wonder if we're going to get any racing laps in this race. Wait and see. This is what happened to Nicholas Latifi. He was scrapping away with Mick Schumacher.
That's not the corner he crashed on, is it?
That was earlier on, I think, in the skirmish with Schumacher. They barged wheels, went off the track, would have picked up a bit of dust and debris on his tyres, and then the rear just lets go.
Probably dirty tyres from being offline there. Will we get any more racing laps or not? What jeopardy at the end of this Grand Prix, the end of this World Championship. Will there be any more racing laps? If there are, then Verstappen has got the tyres to really do something with them. Will they let the lap runners through?
Well, they always do let the lap runners through, and in between Hamilton and Verstappen, Norris, Alonso, Ocon, Leclerc and Vettel.
Yes, but if they do that, it extends the safety car period.
But that's what they always do, take the lap runners out of the way so they're not interfering in play.
What's the situation behind me? So, the situation is Verstappen has pitted. He had a free pit stop. We would have lost track position to him. 4 laps remaining when you cross the line. So this field has to bunch, and then they have to send lap cars through. So it may not restart.
Is he right behind me?
He will be, once they've sorted out all the order. This is going to take a while to sort out.
There might be one.
With new tyres.
Copy, Lewis. We would have lost track position if we had pitted.
And that was the big key here. Mercedes, for the second time, keeping Lewis Hamilton out whilst Max Verstappen pitted. Red Bull had nothing to lose. Hamilton potentially losing track position. And in this case, if we don't go racing again because you can't overtake under the safety car, he would have lost the World Championship.
Is there a vehicle pulling the Williams out of the way or not yet?
Can't see it at the moment. Ted, down to you.
Yeah, have a load of other people pitting. Yuki Tsunoda, Pierre Gasly, Daniel Ricciardo. We've had Lance Stroll as well into the pits. I'll give you those orders as they shake out. But yeah, it was just bad luck. I mean, you saw the Mercedes mechanics just hanging around outside the pits looking at whether they had the order to come in. But Hamilton was so close to the pit entrance that it does seem that the engineer's right there. Whatever they would have done, they would have lost track position.
The safety car's not going full gas down the straight.
Copy, Lewis, understood.
His tyres are cooling. He needs more pace, more heat into those tyres.
This is awful for Lewis then with those hard compact and heavily used tyres. So there's the shunt then that caused the safety. It has to be a safety car there. And but will they let the lap runners through? I don't think it's absolutely mandatory, but that's normally on a wet day that they don't. And if so, how long will they wait for those lap cars to get out of the way? If they wait for them to catch the pack up, which they don't have to do, then I don't think we'll get a racing lap. If they let them through, we could get one racing lap.
3 laps to go. Nicholas Latifi is seemingly okay after that contact with the barriers, around about 90 miles an hour. But he would have taken a whack, and it's good to see that he's okay. Sergio Perez coming into the pits again.
So Max,
I think they're retiring the car here. Perez into the pits for the 4th time. I didn't understand why, but I think they are retiring the car, and yes, they're not going to be working on it, and that is the end of Sergio Perez's Abu Dhabi Grand Prix.
Checo, we need to retire the car. We need to retire the car. Box.
And for the
really? Yeah, box.
And lapped cars will not be allowed to overtake.
It's not mandatory in the regulations, which leaves Verstappen with a lot of work to do then.
So Mercedes will be Constructors' champions at the end of this race, as it stands at the moment, assuming that Hamilton and Bottas finish this race. The Drivers' Championship, though, is very much up for grabs. The lapped cars won't be allowed to overtake, which means that there are plenty of cars in between Hamilton and Verstappen for Verstappen to fight his way through. Norris, Alonso, and also Ocon and Leclerc and Sebastian Vettel.
None of which are for position, of course. No. They're obliged to get out of the way, but Lewis will be long down the road.
That, I suppose, is the compromise that race control have made here. By giving the best possible chance for racing to the finish rather than finishing behind the safety car, they've decided the lap cars will stay where they are.
Cancel that. Lap cars will not be allowed to overtake.
Yeah, of course. Typical decision.
It's classic.
I'm not surprised.
Well, I'll try and look at this objectively. We should get 1 lap of racing here. If we allowed the lap cars to overtake, we'd have no laps of racing to the checkered flag. So what do Red Bull want? Max Verstappen and Gianpiero Lambiase as race engineer, do they want the chance, or do they want to finish behind the safety car with no overtaking? Because I think that is the decision that has come from race control. And personally, this is the decision that gives them the best chance if they want it.
Yeah, I mean, the regulation, as I said, they may allow the lap cars through. It's not mandatory, as I pointed out, but as you point out, Crofty, there'd be no racing laps if they let the lap cars through, because I think the safety car will come in at the end of this lap, and there will be 1 racing lap.
They'll all get blue flags, I would imagine.
Christian and Michael.
Yes, go ahead, Christian.
Yeah, why aren't we getting these lap cars out of the way?
Just give me, because Christian, just give me a second. Okay, my big one is to get this incident clear.
You only need 1 racing lap.
Well, I assume Christian's talking about then, getting the lap cars out of the way, not clearing the incidents away.
Yeah, I mean, all of the cars in front of Max will get blue flags and are duty-bound to get out of the way, but they're all in a reasonable fight themselves, aren't they?
Well, so here we go. normally, you know, you'd see the race leader backing up the pack a little bit when the safety car goes. I would imagine on this occasion, if we do get a lap, Martin, Hamilton will want to be disappearing off into the distance as fast as he can. Yeah,
I don't see any way Verstappen can do anything with that. But indeed, is the safety car coming in this lap? We think it should do, could do. Is there any more debris to clear up? But we're halfway round already.
Race control are now saying lapped cars to overtake the safety car. So Norris and Alonso and Ocon and Leclerc and Vettel to overtake it.
And it's ending. Wow.
Mike.
So there's confusion, but the safety car is coming in at the end of this lap. So those back markers allowed to overtake the safety car, and that has now left Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen.
Michael, this isn't right.
It has left Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen side by side. Hamilton will be ahead. Verstappen is absolutely desperate to get on with this on that soft compound tyre. We're going to have one lap of racing to decide the championship in 2021. Hamilton has the advantage. Verstappen has the faster, fresher tyres. And we have got 3.2 miles of racing action all the way to the checkered flag.
I'm going to have to stop it there, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to contain myself, because I've got that much excitement. Did you hear Crofty say, "So here we go," when they're at about turn 7, going down towards turn 9, from 7 to 9, at turn 7, Crofty saying, "So here we go," talking about the racing restart. And we're now hearing lapped cars are now being allowed to overtake. And the list of 5 gets given out, and just as the 5th one is finished being spoken their name, and it's ending, wow! Anyway, just to show you, this is my analytics page of the video. So the Hungarian qualifying crash that I've just uploaded, ineligible for monetization due to copyright. Okay, so I'm not showing you, I'm not just putting videos on here to try and make money out of them. I'm showing you them for a purpose. Okay, the Cameron F1 video where I take you through trolling and Cameron F1, that was ineligible because the video that was used in that to show you about troll farms, well, that took any any advertising revenue from that video on the copyright, because I used that content. YouTube itself didn't feel that the content of the Verstappen not medically fit to drive in Formula 1 video, they didn't want to attach, they didn't think that the advertisers that advertise with YouTube would have deemed that an acceptable video to attach their products to. So that's got limited advertising revenue. So this is the situation, just so you know. But use that video as a reference video. That's the uninterrupted last few laps of Abu Dhabi, listening to Brundle and Crofty. Most of you that are new to the channel will have seen that hour and 45-minute long video almost, where I break down what Brundle and Crofty said. And actually, I've missed out so much. If I was to break down everything that was wrong with what they said, it'd probably take twice as long. Because I've done other things in other videos where I've highlighted even more. And when I drill down to the true implications of what they say and explain fully what they say, you'll see all of the lies. But I've got to do that bit by bit in different videos. Hopefully, I'll get time either this week or next weekend to show you about the team's strategy, the team's compliance, complicity with the fraud. Because it's fairly easy to demonstrate, but you need to see it. And once you do, well, you can't unsee it then. That'll do on this one. Thank you very much for your time.